Hey and welcome back to another video. In this video I want to talk about what's next for some fighters from UFC 310. I will be making the matchups that should be next, and which makes sense. Starting off with Pantoja, he has literally cleared his division all in and out, and really don't have anyone left to fight, because I think he would just beat them all again, but more dominant this time. A fight that could be made is him versus Figgy, since Figgy has beaten him before, but I'm not excited for that fight since Figgy just got dominated by Jan, so I think Pantoja should either jump to bantamweight and fight the winner of Umar and Merab, or maybe the UFC could bring back Mokaev, because that's the only guy I can see beating Pantoja at flyweight, but Pantoja is very, very good. Moving on to the next obvious fight that will happen is Belal against Shavkat. Pretty clear fight that will happen, but the winner is very hard to predict since Shavkat showed some holes in his game that Belal would be able to capitalize on, but I still think Shavkat would finish Belal on the feet, or by submission somehow. Yes, I know Belal could most likely take Shavkat down, and hold him down, but I can't see that happening for 25 minutes because Belal won't be able to finish Shavkat, and that gives Shavkat opportunities to finish Belal. So, it will obviously either end in a decision win for Belal or a finish for Shavkat. Gary was arguably the worst stylistic fighter for Shavkat to fight, but he still got it done. Now for the next matchup, I have Gany against Almeida. I know Gany lost that fight against Volkov, but I think his next fight should be against Almeida and not Aspinall. I would also pick Almeida to win this fight, since I think he's one of the greater heavyweights. Next fight, I have Ian Gary against Leon Edwards. Come on, this just makes sense. England versus Ireland, striker versus striker, and both coming of losses against the two best guys in the division who will fight for the title. The only difference here is that Leon got dominated, and Gary made the fight competitive and stood his ground and was hard to take down. How I would see this fight end would be by a decision favoring Gary. I can see Gary out, striking Leon, and also holding him up against the cage and even taking him down to control him. Who knows, he could also get a submission. He was quite close to submit Shavkat in the last round. I could definitely see him being able to submit Leon, but Leon is still very good and could get back to title fight talks if he goes out there and dominates Ian Gary. But my pick would be Gary. Moving on to the next final matchup I have is Sterling versus Brian Ortega, or Bryce Mitchell. In my opinion, Sterling is still one of the best in featherweight, and would be a hard fight for Ilya, but I don't see Sterling getting close to a title fight anymore, since he just lost to Movsar, and is close to retirement. But nonetheless, he should fight either Ortega or Mitchell. Both these fights are light work for Sterling, and would get him right back in the conversations to maybe fight Evloev in the future, or a rematch with Movsar. Sterling would beat Volk and Max in my opinion pretty comfortably, just like Ilya did, but not by knockout. But that's a conversation for another day. Now finally moving on to the final matchup. I have Movsar against either Ilya or Lopez depending on if Volk gets the rematch against Ilya or not. If Volk is not fighting Ilya, then in my opinion Movsar should 100% get the title shot. But if Volk is next up to fight Ilya, then I would not be mad to see Movsar against Lopez again. Both fighters have improved since they last fought and would be a banger of a fight. The fight would end in the same way as last time. Movsar will win by decision quite comfortably once again, but this time without getting caught in tight submission areas. I believe a lot in Movsar. That's why I have to be champion by the end of 2025. I believe the UFC will make him fight Lopez first, and then Ilya for the belt, and I will pick Movsar to beat both of them. I really believe that the only fighter who could strip the belt from Ilya in featherweight is Movsar, by a dominant decision. Movsar has all the skills to best Ilya. He has better gas tank, he's more athletic, he's much stronger, better wrestler and grappler. The only thing he ain't better than Ilya at is power and striking skills. Ilya's boxing and striking is clear, but Movsar is still a pretty clean striker, and could survive on the feet against Ilya until he lands a takedown. Ilya's only way of winning this fight is by knockout, and Movsar have a good chin, and would be able to eat some shots before taking Ilya down. Once Movsar takes Ilya down, I don't think Ilya will be getting up that easily, and will lose rounds this way, and therefore Movsar will beat him to a decision win, but this is just my opinion. I know a lot of people are really high on Ilya right now, because he has knocked out Volk and Max. Don't get me wrong, knocking out Volk and Max back-to-back is insane, let alone winning, but both Volk and Max ain't wrestlers, and ain't willing to take it to the ground. That's the difference. Movsar will take it to the round before even taking any big shots, and that will automatically win him rounds by takedowns, control time, and ground damage. I know Ilya is originally a Greco-Roman wrestler, and has a BJJ background, but he hasn't showed enough of it that I could say he would survive against Movsar on the ground. Therefore, Movsar will be my pick for this fight, but I still don't think the UFC will make this fight next for Movsar. I think they will make him fight Lopez first. But that's it for this video. Let me know what you think of these matchups, and who you have winning. Bye-bye.